We're traveling the world full time trying to decide where we want to live next, and here's one reason why we wouldn't move to each of the places we've visited so far. Now, not all of these are deal breakers. Some of them are silly, some of them are serious. They're all just my opinion, so hate me for them as much as you want. I'm just gonna go in order of how we visited them and stop when I feel like it's gotten too long and pick up on a part two. Belgrade, Serbia would actually check most boxes, but it's not very connected, and if we lived in Europe, we want to live somewhere that would make it easy to explore other places in Europe. And thanks to the bloody history of the Balkans, they're not very connected with each other. Plus, the budget airlines of Europe aren't really going to Serbia yet. But if you're actually looking for the most underrated large city in Europe, it's right here. Vienna, Austria, it's too shiny. You know, the buildings are so beautiful, but the way that the light reflects on them just gave me a headache walking around the whole time. The easy one to say for Copenhagen is it's too expensive, but to me it's just too vibey. I can't live 24/7, 365 on vibes that high. Just not sure how my body would handle that. Hamburg, Germany, on Sundays there's not much open except for a fish market that's only open from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. and that is just unhinged behavior. Dusseldorf, Germany, or just the Rhineland in general, I feel like a lot of old people vacation there, and I grew up on the coast of Florida and just don't need to live in a place that people call their retirement home anymore. Munich, I've lived in the South my whole life. I don't need to move to another country and do it again. Venice, man, I vibe with Venice, but I'm pretty confident they don't want me there. Lake Como, to me, the best parts of Lake Como are some of the more remote ones, and I just couldn't do that long term. Maybe for a couple of months, but I think after too long, I would just be like, I need something new. Monte Rosso, Italy, I'd spend my life trying to be a Pixar character, which is great for a couple days, but maybe not long term. Milan, people dress too nice. I could not live in Milan. I mean, fucking look at me. I'm wearing a Mickey Mouse sweatshirt. I'd get laughed out of there in a couple days. Florence needs to take a page out of Venice's book and make their city center car-free. The roads are just too small for cars and all of the goddamn people. You weren't built for cars, just accept it. You'd be a lot better off. Rome, I've honestly had a tough time coming up with one that wouldn't probably be solved if you were living there, because the two that come to mind are just the standing in lines to go to dinner and not having very many playgrounds. But obviously, the more you live there, the more you solve the knowing where to go eat. And with the playgrounds, the more you move out of the tourist urban center, I think the more residential and playground centric it gets. That feels like a good stopping point for part one. I'll pick up with Albania in part two.